In a universe filled with noble heroes and tragic villains, one character stands apart. He's loud, he's violent, he's immortal, and he's the last of his kind. Lobo, aka the one who devours your entrails and thoroughly enjoys it, is the main man of DC Comics. He is an intergalactic bounty hunter who kills just for the fun of it, and he will be appearing in the new Supergirl movie. This is the story and psychology of Lobo. Lobo first appeared in 1983 and he was created by Roger Slifer and Keith Giffen. However, the character we recognize today didn't fully emerge until the late 1980s and early 1990s. Originally, Lobo was meant as a parody. At the time, comics were becoming darker and more violent. Characters like Wolverine and the Punisher were rising in popularity. They were anti-heroes who blurred the line between justice and brutality. With Lobo, they took that concept and pushed it to absurd extremes. Lobo comes from the utopian planet Czarnia. He has exceptional strength and fortitude. He is a big fan of violence and genocide, and he believes killing is an end in itself. He is arrogant and self-centered. He puts his own needs and wants before anyone else, although he is loyal and doesn't break a promise. Lobo has a personal code of honor that he doesn't violate. What this moral code exactly is unknown. What we do know is that whenever he has a contract, he will provide. He never breaks the letter of the agreement either, but that doesn't mean he won't break the spirit. Another habit he has is that he goes after anyone who hurts space dolphins, or how he likes to call them, fishies. Lobo is very fond of space dolphins and takes care of them. For example, Lobo once fought Aquaman when he learned a space dolphin was killed on Earth by fishermen. He stopped fighting him when he learned Aquaman was also a friend to the dolphins and he cannot hurt a fellow dolphin lover. Despite his love for fishies, he has no such mercy for anyone else. Lobo is the last of his people, and this is because he killed them all. Czarnia was a paradise. They didn't know about war and they were almost immortal, being able to make replicas of themselves through their cells. The people there lived in harmony. When Lobo was born, he bit off 4 fingers of the nurse who delivered him. She was the first mental patient they had in 10 millennia. Also, his parents were so shocked by how evil Lobo was, they just left. This makes it clear that Lobo was born evil and not a product of his environment. Lobo knew he was one of a kind and he only wanted to be bigger and better. He got inspired by the idea of genocide, so he created a bunch of scorpion-like creatures and he let them loose on his own people. He claimed it was a science project, so he gave himself an A. He then went on to travel the galaxy looking for bounties. This is a perfect job for someone who loves violence and chaos. As I already mentioned, he honors every contract and he always provides, no matter the cost. This has put him into conflict with some of DC's biggest heroes such as Superman and the Green Lantern Corps, eventually befriending Guy Gardner. Being a bounty hunter is fairly easy for Lobo. He has an enhanced sense of smell, which means that once he catches your scent, there is no place in the universe you can hide from him. Another power he possesses is superhuman strength. How strong he is exactly changes from comic to comic, but we can say that he is on par with Superman. As I mentioned earlier, his people are almost immortal, and so is he, of course. He is almost invincible, and if he does sustain an injury, he is able to regenerate damaged tissue instantly. He can even regenerate out of a pool of his own blood by recycling his cells. Not only can he recycle his cells, but he can also clone himself by spilling just a drop of blood. All of this makes it incredibly hard to defeat him. People have succeeded, but when Lobo entered Hell, he was so annoying and caused so much chaos that he was sent to heaven. To no surprise, the same happened there. He is now banned from the afterlife, making it so that if he does die, his spirit can't possess other beings since it has nowhere else to go. This is a bit silly, but it is on par with Lobo's general being. He was made as a parody, and they have used Lobo in the past for shits and giggles. Lobo is one of those characters that breaks the fourth wall. One time he even pulled a reader into a comic and ended it brutally. Another time he fought his own creators. Talking about goofy stories, I obviously have to mention that Lobo took out Santa Claus simply because he had a contract with the Easter Bunny. Although Lobo is violent, scary, and over the top, he is used to amplify and satirize every macho, gritty trope in superhero comics. When we take a look at the psychology of Lobo, it's all quite chaotic, kind of like Lobo himself. You would think that because he follows contracts and a code, he would be quite predictable. But Lobo is far from predictable. The best way I can describe him is chaos with rules. He is callous, impulsive, a sensation seeker, and has a complete disregard for others. He lacks empathy or remorse, and he thrives on destruction. This fits the profile of an antisocial personality disorder and maybe even a psychopath. Psychopaths are pathological liars and manipulators. They have a sense of superiority and would definitely call themselves the main man. They lack empathy. They don't take responsibility for their actions, they're impulsive, thrill seekers, and lack control over their behavior. In order to be diagnosed with an antisocial personality disorder, you need to show a pattern of rule-breaking behavior, and Lobo does this all the time. He does things for his own personal benefit. He is impulsive, aggressive, negligent, and lacks remorse. He has shown this behavior from the literal moment that he was born. He took the lives of everyone who ever cared for him, also he can proudly announce that he's the last Czarnian. Although we could label Lobo as a psychopath, I also think it's important to look at his history and why he was created. He is made to parody the typical anti-heroes. He is made to be an extreme. So in a way, I guess you could say that he's a caricature of a psychopath. He is an hyper-exaggeration. He has this one side that's pure Freudian id that embodies instinct and immediate gratification. On the other hand, he follows a code and he keeps his word. I think this may suggest there is something more structured beneath the chaos. He seems to have a self-imposed system that gives his actions meaning. Lobo doesn't care about morality or what's right or wrong. He cares about his identity. He cares about being Lobo, the main man. He is the toughest, meanest, and most chaotic being in the universe, and that identity is everything. This identity of being the worst is also what makes Lobo so loved in the community. Reportedly, Lobo was Stan Lee's favorite DC character. Lobo works because he's so extreme, unpredictable, and even funny. He breaks the rules in a chaotic, evil way, and he most certainly doesn't pretend to be a hero. This makes him so refreshing as a character. He's not trying to improve, he just is. There's no tragic backstory or one bad day. Lobo is chaos incarnate, and that's exactly why we can't look away. Lobo is a bad guy, so we can accept it when he does bad things. It's who he is and what he does. But would we be so forgiving if heroes were to suddenly portray the same behavior? If you're interested in why we hold heroes to higher standards, I suggest you watch this video next. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!